welcome to the third review of the evening. Up this time is Anodyne, neat Anodyne Remastered. In this unique Zelda-like game, explore and fight your way through surreal and creepy nature, urban and abstract themed areas in the human young subconsciousness, invoked by a 16-bit era visual style and a moody, dreamlike soundtrack. Like, um, and what might be new in the remastered package is play Anodyne Remastered in 60 frames per second with Steam Deck support now, and other quality of life features. A new secret boss rush mode. The mini map now shows the location of treasure boxes in rooms you visited. Stuff like that. It is worth noting that the remastered version of Anodyne is only on PC now. It's coming next year to consoles. Anyway, so this game was assigned to the Galix for review. So over to him for the details.
So yeah, as the copy said, this game has mechanically and play feel wise a lot in common with the Game Boy Color Legend of Zelda games, probably particularly. Although you don't get nearly the same variety of tools and stuff. You mostly just get your broom with some upgrades to it, and then a couple of other traversal things, such as boots that let you jump. But yeah, you go places, beat up enemies. The only real collectible in the game seems to be cards of the enemies, which gate doors to usually small bonus areas. I understand there's at least one that has some lore and stuff in it. But otherwise, a lot like the first one has a health extension. The plot is a little bit weird. You're allegedly going to defeat the darkness to save Briar, to get Briar, and you have some fun is made of the fact that your weapon of choice is a broom and stuff. Unfortunately, I did not get as far as I wanted to in this because I was actually enjoying myself quite a bit, but the game is pretty sprawling, and as has happened in my first times playing, for example, the Game Boy Advance or Game Boy Color Zelda games, I got lost and did not know which way to go to advance. There are not a whole lot of friendly NPCs to point you ways. But, that's okay. And I didn't want to resort to a guide before I absolutely had to because some of the stuff in the game seems to benefit from being somewhat of a surprise. This game also has a quirky to creepy aesthetic. Like, some of it's quirky. There are just weird people and characters doing relatively inexplicable things sometimes. But also, there are fairly frequently tricks with faded out things that don't explain themselves very well in dark areas, and the whole just sort of generally the background music in most areas is a kind of discordant, ominous music. Although in a couple of areas you get much more pleasant. It's still kind of It's still never really like upbeat or anything, but you get some that is more like calm, I guess. So yeah. Also, I didn't play the original, so I can't speak to any improvements that the update made. But the current version available gives you the choice at launch to play the remaster or the original. So it's not like you have to choose. Um, you do have some interesting abilities since your weapon is a broom. You one of the first things you get to do is to pick up and deposit dust piles, which is an interesting ability, but you get more utility out of the dust piles than I would expect of that. You can use them to block things. You can put them in the water and use them as rafts, which is a little bit weird to me. Oh, the way this handles water is a little bit interesting compared to the other ones in the Zelda games. Usually, water is either shallow, and when you go in it, you make little splish splash foot noises, but otherwise no effect, or deep, and you can't go in at all until you get the flippers. But in this, most water seems to be of a depth where while you're in it, you sink gradually over the course of, I don't know, a couple of seconds. So you can like step into the water and go grab something and get back, or sometimes even make it to the next screen before you actually drown and lose a health thing. And when you drown and lose a health thing, you start over at the beginning of the current screen, so you can actually make your way quite a ways through some wet areas that you're probably supposed to, use a dust boat for, which may or may not have, yes, it did contribute to me getting lost some. So, like those beamy things, you can see on the left that the dust pile is, and the dust piles are blocking those. So that's one of the things. And you can stand on one and place next to it or whatever. Otherwise, mainly you're getting keys to open doors. Sometimes you have to kill all the enemies or push them around or something to be able to pass. Um, yeah, I don't know what else to say. Overall, I have generally a very positive impression of this game, assuming you can handle a frequently creepy background music track that kind of just drones on a lot.
Like
Um,
there's more disturbing stuff in the game, let's say.
yeah, it's intentional. There some of it's disturbing. And I've done some research, and a lot of the lore stuff just isn't ever properly explained. It's just there to be either quirky or creepy.
There's a lot of lore stuff too. Um,
Yes.
that
Um,
like
yeah, it's
if
not
you,
like it's not, that doesn't mean that it doesn't mean anything. It's just there's a lot of stuff that never really gets fully explained. But
oh,
yeah, if you
and
enjoyed, huh?
yeah, and dust is the central pillar of this franchise.
Hmm. Yeah, there is also a sequel to this, which we haven't gotten a review code for or whatever. But
No, no, I reviewed that years ago.
I'm sorry, I haven't played. Adam
Yeah,
has. Sorry, I forgot. You mentioned that a while ago, but I forgot about it. Anyway, there's a sequel if you're interested in that. But yes, if you're interested in a gameplay experience that feels similar to the particularly Game Boy Color Zelda games, but also some of the other top-down ones, and enjoy a little bit of weird, quirky stuff too, like if you liked the sense of humor of It'll Do, you might enjoy some of this for another sort of similar game. This is a bit more combat based and traversal based. compared to the amount of puzzles in some of them. Would you agree with that? Probably. I think so. So yeah, overall, pretty positive recommendation. Do you guys have any questions before I ask about the price?
Nope.
Good.
Then what are we talking about for price?
This game clocks in at $9.99.
Yeah, that is definitely a fair price for it. I don't think you even need to wait for it's on sale unless, like, I think it's worth that at least.
Like, yeah. I will note that, the initial release of this game was over 10 years ago. So it has gone on sale and also appeared in bundles. I think that's how I got my copy.
It's possibly how I got mine too.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
apparently I already had this when we got the code for review, and Petty Fan is the one who got the actual code for this.
Yeah. Like,
but yeah, it's a good game. I recommend playing it if you enjoy this genre.
I imagine that Galax here will be playing this after the review.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to get a bit more into it and maybe look up a guide a little bit so I can get myself unfreaking lost. Okay, so early on there is a bit of an item trading quest style thing, but it also has a fail safe where if you go too far, like where if you go too far away, you can get the thing you get for the first couple of steps anyway. I did the first couple of steps, but didn't do the last step, and then got very far off track because I forgot the obvious person to give a thing to, and then they just showed up and said, "Oh, hey, I'll give you this thing I have for those." That's how you get the jump boots. So yeah, I went way off.
DM, you guys screwed up. Here, let me give you the item you need, Kirk.
A little bit. I looked it up, and apparently, if you get to that area, they will give you the thing even if you don't have the thing to trade them. Just to keep you from getting like completely locked out. But I had the thing to trade them. I just didn't go over to where they were and give it to them, and instead went the other direction because there was nothing stopping me. There's a lot of free area to go to in some of these areas, and it's not always the easiest to tell where going will help. But that's part of the charm, I think. So that's about all I got, I think.
Right. All right. So yeah, that'll about do it for Anodyne here. Be sure to tune in after the break as we review Super Lumberjack.